I call it Malmo, but the correct way of pronouncing it actually is
Malmö.
But whatever you say, the city was named the happiest in Sweden in 2016. It is the third largest city in Sweden and the sixth largest in Scandinavia, with a population of around 500,000. Now, thanks to ORBX and developer Marcus Nyberg, we can now visit this great city in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So let's go check it out. Okay, so a quick overview before we get into what this product looks like and those before and after shots. Now, this is one of the biggest airports in this region. I do believe, and it will say it on here somewhere, but it is around the third or the fourth biggest in the area. But yeah, it's one of the big ones. You get a lot of the airliners flying into here. It also has a separate GA area as such. It's almost like a whole airfield all on its own, so you can fly out of this area. And this airport, if you're into your GAs, I know I'm enjoying GA more and more these days, you do get a sloped runway. The one thing I will point out that already worries me a little bit is the fact that they point out brand new static aircraft. You all know on this channel, I have some serious issues with static aircraft from ORBX. It's not the problem that they don't model them well, they look really good, but you can't turn them off. And you should be allowed that ability to turn them on and off when needed. And there's not that. They just put them in there and expect you that you want them. You know. But you got all the bits you've come to expect: 4K textures, sloped runway, dynamic lighting. They mentioned that the weather influences the ground textures. I guess that's not really a key feature, is it? Because surely we didn't expect that. But they highlight that. We'll see what happens there. Priced at $24.99 Australian dollars. Again, your estimates are here, and they will fluctuate depending on the exchange rate at the time. But 1831 US dollars, 1542, 1370 Great British pounds. Again, it's there. So, as always, I would say with this, if you are going to purchase this, do so from ORBX Central, the ORBX application. Do not do it from the Microsoft Store if it is indeed listed in there yet, because there are issues, and quite frankly, I don't like the way they do things in there. At least with ORBX Direct, you can actually tell ORBX Direct to install the program on a separate, or install the scene, I should say, on a separate drive, and then it will do all the work for you. That thus saving space. But with that said, let's install the product. Let's go for those before and after shots, and then I'll see you within the scenery itself. Well, welcome to Malmo, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how you pronounce it. I apologise to the people of this area, but you know, I am not fluent, as they say. But here we are in the add-on. So the first thing we're going to come down to is let's have a look at these runway markings, and they do look weathered. You know, you can see where the satellite imagery has been used, but you get a nice sense, you know, the blotches, the numbers, the runway numbers look a bit aged and worn. You got the odd tyre marks here, and again the paint cracking, that paint crack effect on the runway. So that is real nice. And then you know we've got the taxiways, the markings. It looks potentially like you've got default taxiway signage, but in all fairness, these days all taxiway signage looks the same. But the holding points all look present and correct from here, from what I can tell. Now, one of the first things I will say is, yes, it mentions static aircraft, and oh my gosh, do they use static aircraft in this add-on? They are everywhere. Now, I do have currently multiplayer traffic on, so there is potential here that some of this is multiplayer traffic. So keep that in mind. But there are a lot of aircraft that these will be static. I can't say too much about this SAS here. Or the UPS, it's kind of awkwardly sat over there, but we'll get to him. But yeah, the gates and the terminal itself look really, really nicely modelled. I love the fact that it's got that yellow effect to it, like the real world airport, and the gates all look busy. I like the stanchions with the lights, the floodlights. We'll see if they look nicely lit up at night when we get to it. And we move down, and the actual jetways look reflective. They look reflective, like you can go inside. Can you go inside? And you can. So they have, I don't know if I can do this very well because of the sensitivity, but they've modelled it inside the terminal, or kind of. You can't really see out of the window. I don't know if it's meant to be that way here, but they did it anyway. They have modelled it quite well within there. So a little bit of detail there from the ORBX developers, and I don't know why there's a Cessna sat there, but anyway. And then we've got the buildings itself, which again you can see through there, advertising, hoardings. So it's nice to see when you've got that. You can touch a window, you can see through the window, and you can see inside the terminal. You know, we may never even come to this part of the terminal, but the fact they went to that detail shows you, what a quality add-on this surely is. Here's the car park. We've got here again advertising stands everywhere, and the cars are all parked up in a nice manner. You know, we've seen in other sims and or some other add-ons, I should say, where they're just a mash of cars all together. They don't actually serve any purpose of being there, but these are parked up nicely. And again, the main terminal entrance there, going into the. So here we are at the control tower, and it's modelling quite well. The textures, when you cut up close, don't look crystal clear. However, with that said, you're never going to get that close, and so from afar, they do look really nice. Here we've got all the buildings for the airfield, from cargo stands and hangars and things. And we've got this random UPS. I don't know if this is static or not. I would assume it is, actually. So he takes up a huge chunk of this airfield here. So this will be the cargo side, because you've got another FedEx parts up there. Yeah, here we go. So we've got, I assume that's a cargo hangar there. There's a lot. You can clearly see there's a lot going on at this airport. It is very yellow, so you've got yellow buildings. but I assume that is actually true in real life as well. It's just that these static aircraft are everywhere. I don't mind them being here. You know, I'm never going to use these, whether you fly online or not. These are not going to be used, so that's fine to, to put these here and have a scrap one there. That's fine and dandy. I have no issue with that. The issue is the ones in the main terminal that we see that just get in the way. Does this dude move? Kind of. He's rocking. Okay, and then we come around the back of here. I mean, every building has some kind of detail on it, which is real nice. You know, I like to see that. Every single building has some kind of detail. It's not been left and just like, oh, we'll just put that there because it'll fill the gap. They're really going to town trying to get everything correct in the real world. So further on down the airfield, we've come to this section here. I'm not too sure what this is. Okay, this area. It looks like you've got like a fire practice area, but I don't know why all these would be parked here. And I will assume these are there in real life. But if anyone knows why they're there, please do put in the comments below, because I don't know why these old style aircraft are just chilling here. Now, that one's got no wing. You know, like I say, I assume it's there to practice putting out fires and things like that, but it just seems a bit random. And earlier on, we mentioned that there is a GA area that's almost an airfield all on its own, and this is it. So just coming off the main taxiway, down at the other end of the airfield, runway 35, you'll see this strange winding taxiway that leads into another runway, a much smaller, thinner one. And like I said, it's like an airfield. This is real life, like an airfield all on its own for GA. And it's been modelled in again here, with the hangars, the buildings, so you can actually fly GA all around here, separate, which is pretty cool. But all in all, it's a real nice looking airport. Super yellow. If you don't like yellow, you may struggle. But with that said, let's go and mix it up. Let's get it raining and see what changes when it starts to rain. Okay, so it's very difficult in a large airport, a large area like this, to cover every detail when it's raining. But you can see here that the storm's rolled in, and everything's looking nice and damp. I've not seen any issues so far with the rain, having looked around, which is a good sign. I mean, the main bits you want to look at is the main terminal, which, you know, does have all that shimmer, wet to it, which is what we're looking for. And then we'll come over the other side as well, just check there. And again, all looks fine. There. So there's no issue from a rain standpoint. So we'll go check the runway. Everything looks fine on the runway. If anything, it looks much wetter, and there's standing water on it, so that's actually really nice. It does look like a bit of a difference in the default, actually. Could be wrong, could be just me thinking that, but it does look a lot better there than normal. So let's go mix it up. Let's go get the snow in and see what the snow textures look like. So the snow has now rolled in, and there's a snowstorm in. There you go. But yeah, well, you can see here. So the main taxiway remains clear, which I would expect. They would actually work on that and keep that clear. And then you've got these parking areas that have not been cleared. It looks a little boxish. I do believe it's a sim thing. The developers, as much as you could try and change this, it's difficult for them because of an SDK issue, and that's why you always get these weird patches like this. But you can see they've tried to. I actually don't mind it too much. The grass is all snowy like it would be. It's just these random patches here, like why, like that. You know, it's a tough one. I understand they can only do what they can do, best as they can do it with the snow, But you've got, prime example here, where you've got full-on patch of snow, lightly dusting, full-on random patches coming out. It's clear. You do lose that immersion in the snow, but it isn't that bad overall. It's not that poor where you think, oh man, I'm struggling. I lose the immersion because it's in the snow. It's not. It's believable. You can get away with it. And as we head down the runway, the runway does get a covering quite nicely actually. That's a real nice rendition there where you've got the snow either side, and then down the middle it's starting to sort of move away because of the aircraft which would be landing and being cleared. And again, as we head over to the secondary airfield, the GA airfield, same again with the runway, got that light dusting and then completely clear on the apron. But if anything, that's more believable there because it's like they cleared the apron but left the middle parts which you wouldn't actually go into with snow on. So that's more believable there. So overall, it's actually not that bad in the snow. Yes, there's work needed for updates, but that's not an ORBX thing. It's an SDK Asobo thing, and I do believe that ORBX, as time goes on, and as SDK improves, this will be improved with updates. So let's go and have a look now and say, okay, what does it look like at night time? So it is now night time. Everyone's going to bed, and well, getting prepared to go to bed. And here we are with all the night lighting. Now the runway looks real nice. Nothing new to expect there. It is the runway lights, and I do believe that this sim offers some of the best lighting that we've seen in some time. We're heading to the main terminal. What I do like already is that the taxiway is marked. Kind of strange lighting here, but I understand that is simply because of the fact that the gates are marked on the ground, as you'll see. And then these lights we saw earlier on do light the airfield well. Now that looks cool. They actually do serve their purpose. They do light up the apron like they should do. And this makes for a real well-lit terminal, building, apron and surrounding area. The car park's lit real nice. Yes, we still have these random floating orbs that we can't avoid, unfortunately. I said it umpteen times, but what would be real nice is if the developers created the product, went back into the night and said, okay, right, we've got some floating orbs there, we'll create a lamppost, connect them. All of a sudden then they become part of the sim. You don't get any more of these floating little orbs because they're part of a lamppost in some kind of way. They're connected up. So, but the lighting around the terminal is superb. You get just enough in the apron to see, but as you push back and it goes dark, that's how it should be. And yeah, and then we've got it's all lit up across the main sort of cargo and different bits and bobs there, and different lighting, so you can see where the cargo and the trucks is more white, and then you have that yellow tinge across the front here. One other thing I want to point out, which I think is real nice, is these taxiway edges. That blue lighting just glows, and it glows onto the ground. I think that's a real nice effect there, and I do like that. Seen it in a few other developers that have achieved this, and this is the first time I've seen another developer create it so that it creates this blue sort of glow onto the ground, which I think is real cool to see that. And all the taxiway markings and signage is lit up real well. You can't miss them. They've not missed any either. And as we taxi down here, if we were to, you can see it's all nice and bright, nicely lit, correct signage. Yeah, it's all there. So let's go and take a look at the old GA area, see if that's lit up in any way. So as expected, the runway isn't lit, but again, GA, you're rarely going to get night traffic anyway. But the apron's lit quite well over there. But yeah, overall, it's a real nice airport for Malmo. In your
Bravo Yankee, wind 140 degrees, 4 knots, runway 17 to land. Runway 17 to land, here, Bravo. Bravo Yankee, taxi Alpha Yankee, hotel to hangar.
Alpha Yankee, hotel to hangar, Sierra Bravo Yankee.
So my closing thoughts around this airfield from ORBX. Now, overall, real nice. Can't fault it. Malmo is a place that I think most flight simmers have flown in and out of and will continue to do so. So now to have a real nice rendition in good detail, love it. And the snow effects, yes, they need work on, but we've established that will come down the line with the textures. Rain looks fine. No real performance issues. The one thing I will say is I've complained numerous occasions about the static aircraft not having the ability to turn them off. So they've now put more in. It's gone the other way. And most of the people who I've spoke to and interacted with in this community do not want them, or at least want the ability to turn them on and off. This scenery has them too much. You know, there's too much actual static aircraft in this one. Yes, it adds immersion if you're flying offline, but if you were to fly online, there is potential, and we have seen it on VATSIM, that players are spawning at terminals or at gates that already have static aircraft in. It just doesn't look right, and it's very strange. So that's something that needs addressing. However, I will say overall, this is a real nice rendition. You know, if you are in this area, flying in this area, no doubt it's a mix for everyone, because you've got both the commercial aircraft that can go in one side and then the GA in the other. It offers a real challenge, and it's a good location to discover the rest of Europe from here as well, being down on the south. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this? What do you think about the static aircraft? How, do you like static aircraft this much, or would you want to have the option to remove them as well? Let me know in the comments below. As always though, please stay safe, take care, and then we'll talk soon.